I have the Var Torah for all of you. But before that, I have a little joke. I heard about this airplane, 3 passengers. It was the smartest man alive, a little boy, a Boy Scout, and the Pope. And the engines failed. They have to jump out of the plane. And they realized that there are only 2 parachutes. So right away, the smartest man alive said, I'm sorry, guys. The world needs me more than any of you because of everything that I can do for the future of this planet. So he put on the first one and jumps out of the plane. Then the Pope looks at the Boy Scout and says, son, I live a wonderful life, had a beautiful connection with God. I think you should take the next parachute and save yourselves. Save yourself. And the little kid said, what are you talking about? We still have 2 parachutes. The smartest man alive just jumped with my backpack. I want to talk to you today about slow down and look around. I will say it again. Slow down and look around. You will see why. But first, again, another reminder. Tisha B'Av is on Tuesday. Okay? It's the anniversary of the destruction of both temples in Jerusalem, plus many other tragedies that happened to the Jewish people. It's going to be very emotional. It's the first Tisha B'Av after October 7, so it adds a different dimension of tragedy to this observance, if you ask me. And what we do as part of the observance of Tisha B'Av, other than fasting, is the reading of Echa. Echa, as I mentioned, is the book of lamentation that you can find in any Bible. Okay? Some people believe that it was written by the prophet Jeremiah, the book of Echa. But again, it's interesting because the word Echa is in this week's Parsha Devarim, almost at the beginning, when Moses is, I believe, complaining somehow to the Jewish people, and Moses says, Echa, how in this world I can bear your problems, your burdens, and your fights all by myself. And the rabbis are a little surprised of this expression from Moses. Moses, the defender of the Jewish people, is now complaining about them, right? And the rabbi said, not at all. Not at all. We have to understand how to properly read that verse. What Moses is saying, that it's not that he's complaining about all the problems that the people of Israel are bringing to him, but what he's saying is that all those burdens and all those problems, Moses felt them like if they were his burdens, his problems, his pain. And then he was saying, how can I deal with this all by myself? And of course the answer is God was there to help him overcome all that. But how interesting it is that what Moses is saying is that he didn't just understand the problems of the Jewish people. He didn't just understand the burdens, but he reached a level where he could actually feel their pain. And this is something very interesting. I don't know if it ever happens to you when somebody comes with, let's say, bad news or telling you to tell you something that they're going through, and for a second, you feel their pain. Sometimes it goes away quickly, and then we don't do anything about it. But sometimes we reach that level where we can feel their pain, right? Most of the time, we reach the level that we can understand their pain, but we don't reach the level we connect with the other person to the point that we can feel their pain. And then when you feel their pain, there is something perhaps that will move you to do something to help them. And I heard about this story. It's very interesting. There's a young executive. He just bought his very first fancy car. He bought a BMW. And he took it to the street and he started to drive probably a little faster than he should. right? But he was feeling the power of this brand new car. He was going, and then all of a sudden, boom, he heard a noise coming from the sides of the car. And then, yeek! He stopped suddenly. He got out of the car and he saw a little kid. And then he gets, so what have you done? And he realized that the kid threw a brick to his brand new car. I said, are you nuts? Do you know how much I will have to pay now to repair my brand new car? And the kid told, I said, I'm truly sorry. I didn't know what else to do. I was trying to catch people's attention to stop because my brother here fell from his wheelchair and didn't know how to make you stop because I need help. You can imagine how bad now this man felt when he realized what was going on. And of course, he said to the kids, don't worry. He came closer, he took his own handkerchief and he helped clean up a little bit of the blood of this kid. He checked that he was okay. He helped the little kid put his brother back into the wheelchair because he was so heavy for the little kid to do so. And then he helped him a little bit to get out of the ditch and into their way so the kid could push his brother back at home. And which is interesting is that the story ends that this man never repaired the damage of his car, as a reminder that sometimes you have to slow down and look around for other people's needs. That was a beautiful reminder for him every single day of his life. And I believe that's something that happens to all of us. That sometimes we move so fast in life that we don't even notice the need of others. Sometimes we don't even notice that there are others. That fast we go. And this is an opportunity for us to remember sometimes to slow down a little bit and look around and to see if there is anyone in need. Now, it's interesting that I wanted to bring you this story right before Tisha B'Av, because if you go to the Talmud is trying to let us know why Tisha B'Av happened. Why was Jerusalem destroyed? Why was the temple destroyed? And one of the reasons that the rabbis give is sinat chinam. Have you ever heard the word sinat chinam? It's usually translated as groundless or baseless hatred. But the etymology of the word will surprise you a little bit. Sinat does mean hate, but chinam comes from the word chen. Chen means grace. So basically, sinat chinam should be translated as something as hatred by grace, which doesn't make any sense, right? But it does in a theological understanding of the concept. They're saying that chen is what God does for you freely. All this giving to God for no reason. Because sometimes we receive blessings that we don't deserve. That giving from God when you don't deserve something is called chen, right? So sinat chinam means the opposite. Now you hate for no reason, just because you have all this negativity towards others with no reason whatsoever. The same way that sometimes other people do things for you, good things for you, for no reason. So that's one of the reasons why the rabbis say the temple were destroyed, because people were hating each other with no reason. But if in the Talmud actually says, before it goes into Sinat Chinam, it says Jerusalem was destroyed because of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Just like that. It said Jerusalem was destroyed because Kamsa is a name, by the way, Kamsa. We don't put our kids' names Kamsa anymore. At least I never heard about that. And Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Who were these two characters? Well, let me tell you, because the Talmud continues explaining this. It's a fascinating story. So there was a wealthy man in Jerusalem who wanted to throw a party. And he had a friend, a very good friend called Kamsa. And he also had a terrible enemy called Bar Kamsa. And then he asked his secretary to invite his good friend Kamsa to come to the party. And the poor secretary misunderstood and he invited Bar Kamsa. See, very similar, the two names. And then you can imagine the face of the host when he saw his enemy Bar Kamsa sitting there eating the meal at this party that it was, it's supposed to be Kamsa, not Bar Kamsa. So the host started to yell at Bar Kamsa, saying, "How dare you coming to my party?" Well, I was invited. It was very nice for you. Maybe we wanted to put our differences aside, and you decided to invite me to eat with you. He said, "Not at all. I want you to take your things and get out." And I said, "Shh, slow your voice. You're embarrassing me in front of everybody." And then the host said, "No, I don't care. You leave now." And how everybody was looking, what's going on? You can imagine a party, in any party, even in these days, somebody started yelling like that. This is the moment when you're watching a movie, somebody's yelling on a party, and then the DJ, they stop the music and everything, and you could hear the yelling. And then the host continues, says, "Get out." And Bar Kamsa says, "You know what? Why don't I pay for what I ate? And then I leave discreetly." "No, get out like that." I said, "You know what? I will pay for half of all the meals for everybody can hear." "No, I will pay for the whole party." "No, get out." The story goes that Bar Kamsa was so embarrassed that he actually made a plan to go talk to the Roman authorities with some slander about the Jewish people that ended up destroying the temple. That's the story presented in the Talmud. And then one of the explanations is because of the hatred between these two characters, right? Between Bar Kamsa and the host, that we never know the name, the host of the party. But the rabbis explained that wasn't the only problem here. The other problem they say is that there were these other powerful leaders and rabbis invited to that party, and nobody did anything to try to de-escalate and to calm down the situation and to help these two people, talk to each other. They were blamed for their inaction. And then it says there that the leaders didn't do anything, says the Talmud, because they felt that they were unqualified to jump into this situation. When you say, "I don't want to make it worse, I don't know what to do, so I do nothing." The Talmud says, because of Kamsa Bar Kamsa, Jerusalem was destroyed. So perhaps what it's saying is doing nothing is not an option. Of course, we will never be perfect in anything we do when we try to help somebody. You can't pretend to be perfect. But it doesn't mean that we should do nothing. There is always something that we can do. I think about this guy at the story at the beginning when he stopped his brand new BMW. He wasn't a doctor. He wouldn't know how to treat the little kid, but at least he was sure that he was back into the wheelchair, and so forth. There are so many things in this world that we know that we can never aim for being perfect. But I can guarantee you that there's always something that you can do. And if you can do a little bit, and you can do a little bit, and you can do a little bit, and I can do a little bit, between all of us, we can make from this world a better world. So, if before Tisha B'Av we learn that because of hatred and especially inaction, that brought destruction to the world, then the opposite has to be true. Doing good things in this world, even if it's a little bit, and loving with chen, graciously, to others should bring blessing and restoration to this world. So this is the message for Tisha B'Av. If the temple is still destroyed, it's because we are still hating and we are still inactive. If we want to see restoration and blessing, what we have to do is to give for free in any way we can, even if it's not perfect. Shabbat Shalom.